What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Dits versus Josh. I am Josh. Dits. Last week we did Backlash. Now we're back to normal, I guess. Normal? Well, I don't really...
Appears though the board of directors have suggested some sort of brand extension.
Ruthless aggression. Allow me to introduce you to the new general manager of Raw, Eric Bischoff.
Who in the green hell are you?
I lie, I cheat, I steal. And at Wrestlemania, I just hear myself say 3 minutes. Well, let me tell you something, brother. Whoa.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Dits versus Josh. I am Josh. Dits. Last week we did Backlash. Now we're back to normal, I guess. Normal? Well, I don't... Was Backlash not normal?
Well, this will never be normal regardless, let's be honest.
That's true.
But yeah, last week we did the Backlash review, which we were, kind of friends, you could say. We were...
Hey,
we were
I'm
not,
always going to be
there was
friends.
no conflict.
Maybe I need to change up my approach here. Maybe attacking isn't the way to go for me, because it's clearly not working. So maybe I'm going to be a little less hostile. Maybe. No, I'm not giving out
First
any...
episode back properly in terms of the competition side of it, the versus side of it. So you never know. You could pull one back today.
Who knows?
It is,
Who knows?
it's 3-0. I'll just keep throwing that one in there. 3-0 at the moment. If you want to make that 4-0, of course, that's also a possibility.
Attack, all you want. Congratulations on your victories.
Hey, I've got to lap these up while I can, because
who knows?
Smackdown was pretty interesting this week.
So we had Backlash last week, and for anyone that didn't go and listen to that, go and stop this, pause this, go and listen to that, because it was a interesting show.
And if you haven't listened to it or refuse to listen to it, I would say I would hunt you down, but social distancing says that I can't do such a thing. So
and that's
I'm
getting
not a
bit
dick,
hectic,
so I'm gonna
So we did have Backlash last week, so we're on the fallout from Backlash. Post pay-per-view shows are usually they're really good. Usually. But by the sounds of it, obviously I haven't watched Smackdown, you haven't watched Raw, but by the way we've both described it to each other, that wasn't necessarily the case.
I saw one clip from Raw, because obviously Smackdown airs after Raw, so we're going to get recaps of some descriptions. The recap I saw was actually okay. It was decent. I can assume you can guess what that recap is, because it involves a SmackDown superstar, but obviously you will get into that in more detail.
Yes.
That seemed to be a decent spot.
And of course, as I always do, I always Snapchat you my favorite moment of the night. And it always happens to be involving the women's division, aka the Molly Holly division. So
yeah, I think from now on you're going to get a for fuck's sake response every single time you send that to me.
That's fine by me.
As
I
per
don't
today.
care. I'm not going to stop. Block me. Until you block me, it ain't going away. She was even at Backlash. Everybody. I'll talk about Molly Holly for hours on end, which I probably will for this entire Raw review, to be completely honest, because she was the star of the show. So I guess we should probably get into Raw.
Oh, yeah, go on then.
All right, so it was April 22nd, 2002 in St. Louis, Missouri. Raw, the night after Backlash, so I'm fresh off of the Backlashness. We get graphics for the show. The new Undisputed Champion, Hulk Hogan, will be here, because at this stage, the Undisputed title was on, they could appear everywhere. So Triple H was, so he was able to be on Raw and SmackDown. Hogan is now, so he can appear on Raw and SmackDown. But they're officially listed as their brand superstars, aren't they? So Hogan is technically a SmackDown superstar, isn't he?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yes. So,
but you get to share in the misery of Hogan for a little bit. So
yay! So Hogan's going to be here later to spit his nonsense. But first things first, Raw kicks off with a match. We get a match first things first, and it's Brock Lesnar, who just decimated Jeff Hardy at Backlash the previous night. He's going to take on Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy's back. No Lita, because Lita has broken her neck because of the TV thing. So this is when Lita goes away.
Huh?
Remember when Lita broke her neck?
Wait, when she did that suicide dive?
No, that wasn't when she broke her neck. She broke her neck. No, she broke her neck in when she was filming that TV show Dark Angel.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. But she was on Backlash the night before.
So apparently it happened because where they were filming was where she flown out in the morning, so she was going to miss a couple of Raws. I didn't know this because she was just in an interview and it just happened to line up with this timeline. But she broke her neck that day and was just getting medical evaluation. So yeah.
Okay.
So Lita isn't here. They just said she had a medical emergency. So I'm assuming.
Yeah, breaking your neck, I think, falls under that. Yes.
Yeah. So Matt's here alone. No Jeff either, because Jeff got taken apart at Backlash.
He's pretty much dead.
So Brock Lesnar comes out first. Heyman by his side, of course. Matt Hardy.
Does he still have his generic theme?
He does. He does still have his generic theme, but he's
not the next
over
big
as all
thing yet.
batshit. By the way, he got quite a big pop. People really caught on to Lesnar fast, I will admit. But yeah, Matt Hardy's music hits. He comes from the crowd and attacks Lesnar. Matt Hardy gets like a lot of offense in like really early. Like Matt's hitting like leg drops from the top rope and the second rope and doing all this crazy shit. Then it turns sour for Matt. He goes for a twist of fate and it doesn't hit. It gets reversed into an F5 and Lesnar goes rampant, power bombs, more F5s, and the referee stops the match. Similar to like how it happened to Jeff. And then they're off for the day. Their match only went for like maybe 3 or 4 minutes, but it was fun. I don't think time is necessarily everything. You can still have a lot of fun within 3 or 4 minutes. I
think that's the gist of this era, because I've noticed that even before when we were doing the show last year, and then watching SmackDown this week, like all the matches, apart from main event and maybe the opener, they're all about 3 or 4 minutes, every single one of them.
And they're not bad.
And it's not a bad thing. Yeah, exactly. Right. It's not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing. I don't think necessarily. Sometimes it's just better. If this was a 10-minute just beatdown, I'd be bored. But it's 4 minutes, 5 minutes, and it's fine. Obviously, Brock won, and that was that. I personally, I'm not going to speak too far in the future because I like to kind of keep this show rolling as it was airing kind of deal. But I'm pretty sure this is maybe towards the end of Brock versus the Hardys.
I'm trying to think if they do anything at Judgment Day.
I don't know. Judgment Day is the next pay-per-view. I think it was like, they said it was like 3 or 4 weeks away, which seems about right. But Judgment Day is a great name for a pay-per-view, by the way.
Yeah, I miss Judgment Day.
A lot of the pay-per-view names. Now we get TLC.
Great Balls of Fire.
Hey, I liked that one. So we go backstage. Of course, Ric Flair's here. Now, Flair was the official in the match between, what's his face? Stone Cold? Yeah, him. And The Undertaker. Taker went over. There was the rope thingo. It was that. Like, the crew is kind of like, Flair's walking in and there's like crew members and they go to like, he goes to shake their hands and they're like, no, you screwed over Austin. He insists to all the crew that like, basically, he didn't screw over Austin. It was an honest mistake. I'll explain later, but your theory on him seeing it is wrong.
Oh. So it is just a genuine cock up.
You know how you said in the Backlash review, you were like, he looked as if he could see.
Yeah.
I'll explain later with the promo he does, but you're wrong. You're wrong. But Taker's there, and he thanks Ric Flair because he did the right thing, he said. And Undertaker basically says, Flair, I owe you one. And then the segment ends. Because Taker comes out to the ring because he says in the backstage promo, basically, Flair, I'm going to go and publicly say thank you to the world. So Taker comes out. He's confident. he comes out. By the way, place goes ballistic when Rollin hits too. Like,
I love the fact that they have the rights to that song still.
I'm glad it's
I
not
noticed
dubbed.
that. I when that dropped at Backlash, I was like, thank God for that. It's a great theme.
So, he has a promo. He's thanking Ric Flair. The fans are basically just chanting for Austin. This entire promo, they're just chanting Austin, Austin. I thought they were saying asshole, and I was like, why are they calling him an asshole? He's not really doing anything asshole-like, kind of, but they were chanting Austin. So he basically says, Judgment Day, Hulk Hogan, I'm gonna end you. We're all praying. So that's basically he says he's gonna be the. Taker says at Judgment Day he will be judge, jury, and executor of Hulkamania. That's I wrote that. I typed that out in my notes because I was like, that is a weird line. But the best thing about this segment is obviously the fact that Triple H comes in, and Triple H is a SmackDown superstar. Now, obviously, Backlash stuff happened with Triple H and Taker. So Triple H comes in, and he just wants to tear apart The Undertaker. I mean, he's going through, like, they're chucking each other through, like, over the announce tables. There's lots of referees. Triple H is punching everybody. It's just a big, huge brawl. He smashes his face with a TV monitor. He's bleeding. Like, it's just a big thing, and they go to the backstage, and basically we get to a car, and Taker's set up, like, seated position against the car, and Triple H has got the sledgehammer, is going to smack him in the face, but security takes him, and then the police come in and arrest Triple H. So he's arrested because obviously he's not meant to be there, and he just tried to kill The Undertaker. So
that's the recap that we got on SmackDown.
Yeah, that was like the main segment here on Raw was that, because I don't know. At that point, I know the draft had only just happened a month prior, but that wasn't allowed to happen. Like, you weren't just allowed to show up at the other show, which I kind of
there's no
like.
wild card rule.
No, thank God that's dead and gone. But yeah, they take him away. They come back from a break, and they said during the break he got arrested and taken to a police station. So there's that. That was like the cool segment of the night. That was a really cool brawl. Obviously, when you put Taker and Triple H in there, I mean, it's not going to go bad. You can see where that kind of escalated to years prior, but it was a good segment, and it was just fast-paced and all of that. So, throughout all of this show, which I don't know if you got on SmackDown as well, but the announcers just kept hyping the Scorpion King.
Oh,
so many times.
I'm glad you brought it, because I was like, do I mention the amount of fucking shit they're banging on about this? Yeah, it was a lot.
The highest box office gross in the month of April ever. That's
36.4 million. I know that because they said it twice.
Well, so on Raw, they had an At the Movies segment, and the Scorpion King was reviewed by Booker T and Goldust. And it was great. They had Goldust doing all the thing, and Booker says that if Goldust was in the movie, they'd call it the Scorpion Queen.
Nice.
That's all I wrote down in that segment. That's the line that I got. But yeah, it was a funny little segment. We go backstage again, because that's how this era worked, I noticed. Well, at least Raw, they'd have backstage segment, match. Like, they had a lot of backstage segments back to back to back. I noticed that a lot. I've noticed that watching Raws and even just pay-per-views and stuff in that era. It's a lot of that. We don't really get that anymore. People complain if we do.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the only reason we go backstage is to get interviews now, and even it's just the interviews I find these days are just non-events, really. Every now and then.
Not back to back to back, though. We definitely don't get
no.
it. It's always like that formula of segment, match, backstage, match. Like, we don't really get... It's very rare that we get one after the other, but...
And it seems to be a lot more interesting back then as well.
I think it was just a lot more free-flowing.
Yeah.
It was more of them being them instead of them... I know scripted is a cliche thing to complain about, but in some instances it works. I don't think a completely non-scripted show works. I don't want it completely free-balling, but loosen up the chains a little, because it clearly has more of a flow when you do that. Just have some dot points. That's how I kind of would assume. But we go backstage. Ric Flair's, again, walking around being like, oh, I didn't screw over Austin. William Regal's there. Regal mocks Flair for counting down Austin when his foot was on the rope. And Flair just basically says it was a mistake. He got quite angry at William Regal, which I don't like because I am a really William Regal mark. I love William
Preach.
Regal. He is so
Preach.
damn great. I would just say, and I think everyone, this is a very like popular opinion, but he's the best person to never be WWE champion. If that makes any sense.
I would agree with that statement, actually.
Yeah.
I'm not biased because he's British.
Oh yeah. Oh duh. I was like, oh wait, yeah, of course you're from the same homeland. But he's just perfect. And speaking of perfect, Mr. Perfect is in a match here on Raw.
Oh my.
Woo! Mr. Perfect takes on Rob Van Dam. Eddie Guerrero is on commentary. Now, of course, Eddie won the Intercontinental Championship from RVD at Backlash in a fantastic match. Raw's best match, hands down, of the night.
Yes, agreed.
This match is okay. Mr. Perfect was just, it's weird to say, but Mr. Perfect was just kind of there in this era. Like, he come back for that little stint he had before he passed away. But it wasn't too much. How much longer after this did he pass away? I don't think it was all that long after this. To be, I could be wrong.
2003 that he passed away, I think.
Yeah, and this was 2002, so
yeah.
Was he wrestling right up until the time he passed away? I know he went away and then come back, but I'm not exactly sure.
Well, you keep talking, and I will find out the answer to that question.
So, RVD won this match with a 5-star. It wasn't like a fantastic match, but it was okay. Like it did what it needed to do. Both got a lot of stuff in. I think it went for about 5 or 6 minutes. Again, nothing crazy. We had this. Did we have this argument? Well, not argument, but did we have this conversation on Backlash of who has the better frog splash? And we both thought Eddie. We both agreed that RVD got higher, but Eddie did it more like textbook. I think that's where we went. Well, this frog splash that RVD did on this Raw against Mr. Perfect was like, I hate to be that pun guy, but it was 5 stars. It was fucking great. Like, it was a great frog splash. And I was like, ooh, do I take that back? Because that frog splash is nice. And he got a lot of distance on it. But Eddie attacked RVD after the match, and RVD reversed it, and Eddie went off running. Standard heel babyface shit. And they're continuing their little stuff, I guess.
I'm happy with that. If we get a little repeat of
not mad.
Of Backlash.
Not mad.
Mr. Perfect, by the way, passed away February 2003.
Okay, so this is about a year after, give or take a couple.
So he was in he left WWE in 2002. So probably not much longer you'll see him on your screen. Independence, then TNA.
Oh, yeah, he went to TNA.
Then 1 month later, passed away.
Oh. Mr. Perfect was perfect in his prime. If you go back and watch Mr. Perfect matches, he's very good. And he's obviously before both of our era, really. He's that era just before us, we started to watch wrestling. But if you go back and watch, anyone listening to this, go back and watch that. His stuff is pretty damn good.
Don't let 2002 like kind of...
Not that he was bad, he was just not as good as he was. He was older and but yeah, so that happened. Now, let's get into this Divas tag match, hey? I hate saying the word Divas. It sounds so like weird now, but they were Divas at that time. So we have Trish Stratus and Jacqueline taking on Molly Holly and Jazz. Now, Jazz...
Where the hell does Jacqueline come from?
I don't know, but she got no fucking reaction. Like, no one cared. Trish, on the other hand, was probably... I'm not even kidding. I'm not just hyping this up because it's the ladies and I love them so much. Trish got, like, one of the biggest pops of the night. Like, she was over. It was
I think she got a similar reaction at Backlash, didn't she? It was pretty... Yeah.
She did. But, yeah, she's with Jackie. That's probably the last time I mentioned Jackie in this bit, just because she didn't do a lot. But Jazz, of course, beat Trish Stratus thanks to I guess thanks to Molly Holly at Backlash. Jazz made Trish tap, didn't she?
STF, or whatever she calls it.
You pointed out that she did it really well. That's
right.
Yeah. So,
actually applied the hold.
Yeah, she actually made it look believable. But yeah, Jazz and Molly, a lot of heat for those two, especially whenever they're beating up Trish. When they're beating up Jackie, there's no real care. But this match went for about 3 minutes. Big shock. But the ending, oh boy. So Of course, Trish makes the big hot tag. Crowd's going mental, blah, blah, blah. Elbows. You know, the standard Trish Stratus stuff. Forearms, clotheslines, a spine buster's usually in there. Stratosphere, you know, getting ready to do the Stratus faction. And then gets knocked down by Jazz. And then Jazz tags out to Molly. Jacqueline tags in. Trish then chases Jazz around the ring. Jazz sidesteps her, throws her into the steps, grabs the women's championship belt, gets up on the apron. Jackie backs back, clocks her in the head while the ref's being distracted by Molly. Clocks her in the back of the head, and then Molly Holly goes over with a clothesline. Like a standard clothesline. A big win. Molly gets the win. I go crazy. I screamed, fuck yeah, and it was like midnight last night. I didn't give a fuck. Molly Holly goes over with a clothesline. Not a clothesline from hell, just a regular clothesline after a little clock to the back of the head of Jackie. By the way, Trish got destroyed on those steps. Like, Jazz put some elevation in that. Like, she threw her. And I was like, ouch. But yeah, Molly wins. And then they go to attack Trish after the match. Not Jackie. Jackie's just laying there. They attack Trish, and then Trish fights them both off. Because she's a babyface. Makes sense, I guess.
Wow. Clothesline.
Yeah. A clothesline. To be
fair,
that's how powerful Molly Holly is.
I mean, when we look back at the old episodes of Dits versus Josh, Maven, I believe, in one of those first three, won with a crossbody.
Yeah, I mean, times have changed.
So, yeah.
But Molly won, so that's all that matters. Molly Holly with her first of what I would assume is many victories here on these episodes of Raw. Well, as much as maybe I could just rewrite history and say she wins every match. She's in every segment, wins every match. 10 out of 10 Raws. But yeah, she won with a clothesline. Trish beats him up. And we go backstage again to more Ric Flair. This time he's with Arn Anderson. Because they're friends. Four Horsemen and all that stuff. Flair's basically complaining because people are disrespecting him, saying he screwed over Austin. He still claims that he made a legitimate mistake. And Arn suggests Rick go out to the ring and tell everybody the truth. So that's what Ric Flair's going to do right now. Flair comes out, big Ric Flair pop, going crazy. He admits, and in his words, he did a lousy job officiating Taker and Austin at Backlash.
True story.
They show clips. Now, this is where I was like, Dits is wrong. You claimed that he looked right at his foot and then started the count. So, a little camera angle change, and actually, Flair can't see shit because Taker's back is like in front of Flair. So he looks at Taker as if like, have you got a cover? And I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. He cannot see his foot on the rope.
Ooh.
But someone isn't very happy with that. Steve Austin comes out, and he ain't happy. You know that Steve Austin walk when he's pissed the fuck off, and he's just ready to rampage through everybody? That is the walk. Other than Trish, this is obviously the biggest reaction of the night because it's Stone Cold, and no matter what, I think it doesn't really matter where he puts Stone Cold. He's going to get the biggest reaction of the night. Is he the greatest of all time, in your opinion?
When you think in ring, no, but as a whole package kind of deal,
like as a star, yeah.
Yeah, like the argument is that like if we're talking about Rushmore's, like he's it's an equal footing between him and The Rock for me. Like they'll always be the first two like dead certs on that Rushmore.
My Rushmore is always Austin, Rock, Hogan, and Cena.
Oh.
That's my Rushmore. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I just think in terms of like star appeal to the masses, I don't think there's probably 4 people know better from wrestling than them 4.
Yeah. I would reveal mine, but I'm going to drop it. Here's a free plug. I'm going to be dropping a YouTube video this week of my Mount Rushmore of wrestlers. So
don't tell Mags. Oh my God, Mags is going to come for your neck. You're like, stealing my fucking brand. Fuck Mags. There we go. There we go, Mags. Fuck you. Steal his brand. Make it better.
Like only Dits can.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, back to this. Austin says that Flair is full of crap. He pretty much tells him that he's pissed off. So Ric Flair makes a match because he wants Austin to get out his frustration on the NWO. So tonight, it'll be the NWO. All 3 members, because Kevin Nash is back, by the way.
Oh, yay.
Kevin Nash is back. It's going to be him teaming up with Bradshaw.
Where have I seen this card before? Somewhere very, very recently, and I don't know. I don't know why this is just flagged in my head. But that match card, like the Raw graphic, it was Austin Bradshaw and then the NWO. I've seen that recently, and somebody was talking about it, which means you could potentially about to tell me something that interesting that happened in this match.
Bitch.
Judging by your face, I'm going to say no.
Bradshaw. Like, fuck off. You know how much I hate Bradshaw. Like, it's like, this show is like peaking with Molly Holly and then the absolute bottom of the barrel with Bradshaw. And it's like, what the fuck is this? It's the ultimate emotional roller coaster that I'm just like, ugh. But Austin's pretty pissed, as you fucking would be having a team with Bradshaw. So Flair just storms off. He's like, yeah, pipe bomb that bitch, basically. Like, you have to team with Bradshaw. Joke's on you, you little bitch. So that's the main event tonight. We're gonna have that. So, yay. We get a big tag team match. Booker T and Goldust. Were they called Book Dust? Was that their team name? This was before they were like a team, but was Book Dust their actual team name, or was that just something we all made up?
I think that was like I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was unofficial. But either way, they're the best fucking team that has ever existed in wrestling. They're fucking amazing.
Okay, and we know how Dits feels about this segment. So they're going to be taking on the Dudleys, but not the Dudleys as we know them. The Dudleys as in Bubba Ray and Spike. Who is the European champion
of course,
and the
because
hardcore
we have
champion?
Devon.
We got the Spike's the European champion and Bubba's the hardcore champion, if anyone's forgot. Because none of these people were on Backlash.
And we haven't talked about it since July last year.
Exactly. So they're the champs. They're taking on Goldust and Booker T. There's not a lot in this match, but there's a big dive to get the match started, basically. Booker and Goldust are kind of like, they're in that stage of like that team where they're kind of still arguing, where they're like, I don't think I want to be friends. Basically, Booker doesn't want to be friends with a freak. Basically, that was the story. So they're arguing on the outside, and then Spike does like a suicide dive to get the, woo. There's a lot of like beat down on Spike because it's Spike. We get to a point though where Bubba pushes Spike and says, "Get the tables," but before he can get the tables, because he's so slow and he's so little, he's so little, he can't, and his little legs can't move, I guess. Booker takes advantage, attacks Spike. Booker hits the most ugly scissors kick I've ever seen him do on Spike to get the win. And they kind of run off because Stevie Richards comes out and attacks Bubba, because now we have a hardcore championship match because it's 24/7 rules. And basically Stevie Richards hits one move and then gets put through a table, and that's that. And the hardcore championship retained by Bubba Ray Dudley.
Oh, you get two for the price of one there.
Yeah, it was a complete and utter
and
cluster.
Stevie Richards.
Yay. The only time I really ever liked Stevie Richards is when he was in the Right to Censor, so Steven Richards, and when he was with Victoria, because that was a good time.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, they were like a couple, weren't they? Were they a couple?
Something like that, yeah.
I don't know if they were in love or just... I think they were. They were just both crazy. I think. Well, I guess we'll find out later in the year. So, speaking of a cluster, we have this segment with 3 men that I don't think we would ever see in a segment, ever. Sean Stasiak.
There he is.
Tommy Dreamer.
Oh, yes.
And William Regal.
Oh, give it to me.
Okay, so Sean Stasiak hypes Planet Stasiak in a... This is Jim Ross's words. He's using a hyper voice. What the fuck does that mean?
Hyper voice.
A hyper voice. Anyway, Tommy Dreamer enters...
Is it high-pitched?
No. No, it wasn't high pitched. It was just kind of like Sean Stasiak. Everyone, picture your favorite Sean Stasiak promo, and then that's basically this one. Yikes. Tommy Dreamer enters and asks if Sean is all right. He rambles. He didn't really answer the question. He just kind of rambles. Regal comes in and basically tells Stasiak that he's crazy and he needs to talk some sense. And then Sean Stasiak ends with the line to Regal. It says, "Regal, you will explore planet Stasiak tonight." Yuck. I don't even know.
As long as it's not Uranus, Jesus.
Oh, well, we can only hope. So that was a tape segment. That was like a earlier in the day. You know those earlier in the day segments. You know those.
Yeah.
So we go straight into the match between William Regal and Sean Stasiak. I have no fucking idea why Tommy Dreamer was in that segment. By the way, it has nothing to do with this match. Literally nothing. Because William Regal's already in the ring. He doesn't get an entrance. I guess fuck Regal in this case. Sean Stasiak gets an entrance. Runs in with in that hyper fucking way. He runs in and gets bam. Punched right with the brass knucks before the match, but the referee sees it, but still rings the bell, and then Regal wins. I'm talking straight up vision, he just watched it happen.
I don't think referees gave much of a shit back in these days.
No, I guess not. I don't.
Just out of curiosity, what is Sean Stasiak's theme music like? Because I can imagine it's very bad.
It goes it has a weird intro. It's really hard to get that noise out of me, but it's very hyper. Obviously.
Yeah.
It was, I was just glad to see him get his head knocked off, to be completely honest. But, of course, we go backstage to Ric Flair. Because why wouldn't we? He's with Arn Anderson again and WWF officials because they rushed to a scene which made me nearly climax. Bradshaw has been destroyed. He's unconscious thanks to the NWO. Woo! Bradshaw's knocked the fuck out.
Is he spray painted?
No. He's just on his face and I'm like, stay the fuck there. Stay in St. Louis. We don't care. Social fucking distance away from him. That would be my... everyone just social distance away from Bradshaw. But yeah, so basically it's implied that the NWO did it. Because Flair goes to find the NWO and he says, "Why'd you beat up Bradshaw?" And they were like, "Oh, we didn't do it." You know, the cocky heel thing. So Flair's like, "I'm going to find a partner to replace Bradshaw and be with Austin here tonight." The toilet flushes and out comes Kevin Nash. And he's like, "What did I miss?" Flair runs back into the room and says, I know exactly who this partner's going to be. He didn't even go and look. He just exited the room and come straight the fuck back in. It was a really weird segment. Anyway, he says that tonight, Austin will team with the Big Show.
I know where this is going.
Yeah, everyone fucking does. And as soon as that happened, I'm like, here we go. But I'm not going to complain because it ain't Bradshaw. So, give me 40 Big Shows. That was weird to say. I don't know if I want 40 of them, but nearly worth. But speaking of pieces of shit, Hulk Hogan is here next with the Undisputed Championship. He's going crazy. The crowd's running wild, if you will. And he's talking about all the Hulkamaniacs and how they did it. And he was reborn at Backlash. And the power of the Hulkamaniacs will get him through. And he ends with, "Undertaker, what you gonna do when Hulkamania runs wild on you?"
Fantastic.
Everyone goes nuts. And we've got a showdown set for Judgment Day. Yay.
That is going to be a slog.
Fuck
you thought Triple H or Hogan was bad, Jesus. or hell, even Austin Taker. This is going to...
And it's going to be long.
This is going to surpass.
We know it's going to be fucking 20 minutes plus, and it's just going to be not fun. But Hogan... Yep. So, but we're not done with Raw yet. We've got a main event segment. Here we go. Main event time. It is the NWO's Scott Hall and X-Pac taking on Big Show and Steve Austin. This match is fairly long, as most main events are. you're not going to get any 450s in this match. It's a lot of, it's a slugfest. Whatever. We get to a point where Austin hits Scott Hall with a stunner.
I thought you were going to say hits him with a 450. I was like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He hit him with a 450 spinning stunner. And then he does a front roll to go for the tag. But of course, he tags in Big Show. Big Show turns around and choke slams Steve Austin. Big Show has joined the NWO. A Big Show turn, even in 2002. We can't escape them.
He was already on number 7 at this point, I believe.
Probably. The NWO celebrated to end the show, and now Big Show is with the NWO.
It's exciting times.
Yeah, I was thrilled. That 450 stunner was just... it was heavy. You should have seen it. Austin just landed right on his feet.
Can you imagine him actually doing a 450?
I'm picturing it, and it's quite funny. For some reason, in my mind, he's drinking beer as he's doing it, but whatever. We've got Big Show in the NWO. I'm thrilled. I'm so happy. It was a bit of a drag, this Raw.
Yeah, it doesn't sound.
The Triple
great.
H stuff was really good. That was really good. And obviously Molly Holly and Bradshaw getting knocked unconscious. I'm here for. So I'm not gonna. By the way, I'm not gonna do grades anymore because I just find it kind of like whatever. So I'm just gonna give you my opinion on the show. It kind of low key was a bit stinky, but what are you gonna do? I'm being honest here, guys. Honesty is appreciated. It's not about
usually
what
I
show
would feel
is better, everybody. It's just about what you think, who sold it better, I guess, in the sense of like honesty. That's how I'm approaching this anyway.
Oh yeah, you're gonna play the honesty is the best policy.
I'm trying to turn chicken shit into chicken salad.
Yeah, usually I would be pretty confident having just heard all that, but I'm not. I'm not at all. Smackdown was also a drag, which you'll soon find out. But there were some good moments.
I'm ready for it.
You're ready for it.
Now, I'd like you to tell me where exactly this was, because we tried to figure out how the fuck to say this American town, but we're not American, and we're like, where is this?
So I can tell you that it's in Illinois, but as Kurt Angle would later describe in a promo on the show, it sounds like some kind of urine infection. I could literally spend about 10 minutes trying to say what it is. I haven't wrote it down. It's like Puaso, something like that. It sounds like Mexican, but it's in Illinois. It's weird.
Awesome. Somewhere in Illinois. I'm guessing.
I don't think.
Chicago.
I don't think WWE have ever gone back to this place.
Nice.
Because I've never heard of it before.
Well, interesting.
So there is that. There is that. And they're about to be treated to like the best SmackDown episode ever. So lucky them, because we don't open with a match. We go one better. We open with Hulk Hogan.
Oh, he like basically fucking main evented Raw, so let's open SmackDown with it.
So standard stuff. We pretend that he never even came out on Raw. So this is kind of like his second coronation as undisputed champion. Basically saying the same fucking thing that he said on Raw. Like this is the rebirth of Hulkamania. He did all the shite that we don't enjoy. But he added a bit of an extra layer to this whole thing, questioning whether he actually would have beaten Triple H had Taker not gone involved, and therefore offers Triple H a rematch at the Undisputed title that evening, just to prove that he could beat him without any outside interference. So,
I can't wait.
Triple H then comes out. It was amazing. 5-star classic. 6 stars even. So Triple H comes out, labels himself the best in the business. How do you feel about that, Josh?
In 2002?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. He was probably one of, wasn't he, at that point?
Yeah,
maybe not at that point. No, I think maybe at that point.
I'd say I guess he was probably about peak Triple H.
Triple H? Was that peak?
You get see, after this lot, when he moves to Raw, you kind of get backstage politics Triple H. Whereas at this point, I still think he's kind of his own thing. So I guess there's an argument. I put a question there because I wanted to ask you what you thought. He bangs on. It's such a random fucking promo. This like he started banging on about how he was man enough to shake Hulk Hogan's hand and show him some respect at Backlash, and then was just like, well, if I beat you tonight on SmackDown, will you be man enough to shake my hand? I'll tell you what, in the current climate, there will be no fucking shaking of hands on my show. But it was bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. And Vince came out to break this whole handshaking shindig up. Cue the Rock-generated asshole chants, which he started a couple of weeks back in terms of where we are on TV. He says that he makes the matches around here, which is true. Fuck you, Hogan. You ain't making any matches. And then he does the classic... it pops me every time. Like every time the crowd are chanting asshole, he turns to me and goes, shut up.
Amazing.
I love it. And then he asks the fans, he was like, I have the fans' best interests at heart. Do you want to see this match? And of course the crowd are going, woo! Why would they have to see Backlash? But they do anyway. It was probably canned, it's not, it's taped.
Yes. I have a live show.
And then, and then after big cheers, Vince says, there will be no match. Triple H doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve it because he's a criminal.
Wait. Let's hold up for a minute. Let's take a step back here. Wasn't Triple H in jail?
Well, this is the thing. Like I can't remember when we had the Raw. I don't know if we had the Raw recap before this or just after it, because I was unaware when
Triple H was arrested on Raw. Let's just put that out there. It's only a few days prior, and he just didn't mention that he was like, "I just come in from fucking jail.
I'm on bail."
Cool.
Yeah,
Wicked.
Vince labels him as a criminal, so I guess there's some kind of story continuity there, and therefore he doesn't deserve a rematch. And also, he said you also don't deserve it because you didn't give Chris Jericho a rematch after WrestleMania 18.
Bitch, I agree.
Fair enough. So with that said, he sets up a title match for next week. With the winner of tonight's match between Triple H and Y2J facing Hulk Hogan for the Undisputed Championship.
Oh man, their instant classic they had at fucking WrestleMania 18. What a match.
And I was actually getting ready to, because I rated my segments this week, so I will call out my ratings, but it was the last week that I do so. But I was ready to actually start, kind of attaching something to this. And then I looked up from my phone to see Vince mocking Triple H's fucking water entrance. And I was like, what is going on? And I imagine that his face that he made was his cum face. It was a bizarre sight. And if I can still that image as we're promoting this episode throughout the week, I will. Because it's not the first Vince cum face you will see this evening, and you won't be surprised to hear that because it's Vince McMahon's Creepy Vince. He's back. I gave this whole thing 7 out of 10 purely because of that. Just because of the fact that I looked up and Vince is fucking spitting out water and doing the fucking arm fucking hulking up shit. It was fantastic. And then we nosedive into a horrific segment backstage.
Oh no.
So we've got Billy and Chuck.
Oh yes.
And greeted to Chuck massaging Billy and applying tan. To which Rico says, "You are not doing that properly," and takes over. So Billy's getting massaged by 2 men backstage. Tajiri comes in.
Oh my god! Wait, is Tajiri with Tori?
He is, and Tori is still in full gear.
This is like my favorite 2 things of SmackDown. This is my favorite 2. This is the segment of my wet dreams.
It's a merge. It's a merging. Billy is incredibly racist in this segment. I mean, I would echo it, but therefore I would feel that I'm being racist doing the impersonation. But you can imagine it was something like I don't even want to go down that road, but it was like a Japanese impersonation.
Oh boy,
of Tajiri.
Okay. Yep.
So yeah, you can kind of, like, if you can go watch it, it is horrendous. And I put it in capitals. Billy is racist. Rico, being the fashion expert that he is, bashes Tori's outfit, which I think is, I think it's a decent outfit.
Is she in full like get up, or is she just in
Oh
a
yeah, full
normal...
get up. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
She's in that Komodo. She's rocking the Komodo.
Okay.
So he attempts to improve it by putting a, like the red headband things that Billy and Chuck wear. He's going to give Tori one,
that's
but
nice
Tori
of him.
wasn't a fan of that because he was mocking her. So he went to slap him, and then Tajiri stopped. Tori took the headband on, put it on his head. It was something in Japanese, probably something offensive, knowing the segment, and that was essentially it.
They put all of my favorite people in one segment, and they had to just go the racist route, didn't they?
Yeah, they went the gay route with Billy and Chuck, which is offensive in its own right because it wasn't handled very well back then in 2002. Let's be honest.
It wasn't.
And then racism on top of that.
God.
And it gets worse. Because the next segment we have is a match. Our first match of the night. We kick off with Al Snow, Maven, and Billy Kidman.
Oh man.
Teaming against Billy, Chuck, and Tajiri with Tori. Now, as Billy and Chuck are coming to the ring, of course, they have a theme song. Josh, hit me.
You look so good to me. Ho, ho.
Every week. So the match was
shit. It was shit, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah, it wasn't great. There was an early Famouser. I don't know if it was a Famouser or a Famouser at that point. I mean, but judging by the previous segment of racism,
remember we get Billy's ass out in
homophobia
in No Mercy, the video game. You could pull his pants down, do the taunt, and he would show his butt. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
Was it in No Mercy or WrestleMania 2000?
I remember it in No Mercy. I'm pretty sure it was in that.
In No Mercy. What a game.
And speaking of seeing his ass, well, we're going to come into that.
Here we go.
So Rico drags Tori like around the ring, and something happens. I don't know what it was, but it was enough to make Tori slap Rico, which of course Tajiri wasn't too happy with that, so he's berating Tori in some Japanese.
So wait, so this is when Tajiri was nasty to Tori?
Yes.
Okay.
He's a prick.
I just had to clarify. Because I know there's a point, not that I'm going to talk to it far in the future, but they are friends at some point. Or they're a couple at some point?
I don't know if it...
Or was it already and he's turned
I think it was already,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think. And then while all this ruckus is happening on the outside, Snow and Maven pull down Billy and Chuck's trunks, revealing thongs.
Nice.
Hilarious.
Funny.
Absolutely hilarious. So they run off.
But more importantly, were they tanned?
Oh, yes, they were tanned.
Okay, well, that's all that matters. They did their job right then.
Yes. So they went running up the ramp, obviously covering their balls and arses, even though they're wrestling trunks, which is more or less not that far off the same. But there you go.
You see more in that than you would, but whatever.
That's true. And then Rico, on the way up, is kind of trying to see what's going on. And then he gets the thong treatment too. Awesome. So, yeah, hilarious times two. And then we go back to the ring. Of course, it's just Tajiri and Kidman now because everybody else is pulling each other's pants off. Hits a shooting star on Tajiri, hits that free count. And
gets his win back from Backlash.
Gets his win back, of course.
50-50.
And we go for the second terrible handling of a, essentially gay storyline. Snow and Maven then put on the trunks of Billy and Chuck and act offensively gay.
Like over their trunks?
Yeah, so they put it over their wrestling gear. So they're wearing Billy and Chuck's trunks over their own gear. It's a very strange fucking segment. And I put 2002 WWE in a nutshell.
Nice. This is when, like, I know the Attitude Era was offensive, but, like, this era was, like, being offensive just to be offensive. They weren't doing it for, like... A lot of the stuff they did in the Attitude Era was kind of, like, weirdly fit. Like, there was offensive things, yes, but, like, it it just seems like they were doing stuff to be like, look what they're doing, instead of just doing it. This was a weird era. They were like, this is such an in-between time. Like, it's just odd.
Yeah, I can guarantee that there's going to be a lot of this.
Oh, yeah.
As we go through. Like, it's fucking bad. I give that 5 out of 10. You know, the match was okay, but, you know, everything else around it was, oh boy.
At least you got to see Tori and Tajiri, which I'm here for.
I'm always happy to see Tajiri. I do love Tajiri. We talked about it on Backlash. We're big fans of Tajiri. Then we go backstage. Shocking. And Kurt bullies a large man backstage. Personally, I didn't think he was that big, but Kurt seems to think he's pretty big. And he says to this guy that he's launching a new T-shirt that is going to list all of his accomplishments on the back and then some shite on the front. I can't remember what he said. And then he said there's too many accomplishments to fit on a regular T-shirt, so small, medium, large. So the smallest they do is XXL.
Oh.
And he says, like, he says, this is where you become useful. You can wear this T-shirt and show it off. And he said he'll give him a triple XL because he thinks that's the one that'll fit him.
Is it just a big dude? Who is this person?
So this guy was like hanging around a door, and then Kurt was walking past, and he said
so
to Kurt,
it wasn't
like,
like a talent. It was just some random.
No, it's just some
Joe
random guy
okay.
in like a red jacket, and he turned around and was like,
Nice.
"Can I help you?" And then the guy Kurt was kind of like, "Well, you can help me by wearing this T-shirt, but you're the
a
perfect
big,
size,
fat
XXL."
bitch.
So he says he'll give him a triple XL shirt.
What the fuck?
And I've put here, he's not actually that fat, and I put it was offensive, but it was funny. If it was anybody apart from Kurt, like, I don't think it would have been like good. But Kurt, like, you throw him into any of this, like, just this knobhead heel, like he fits it so well.
Oh, fuck me.
So I didn't mind it. I didn't
Got
mind
an
it.
opening 4 segments that are fucking weird.
It's about to get more weird.
Oh no.
Because we remain backstage.
No, don't say that word. Don't you dare say creepy Vince.
To Stacy giving Vince
Oh no.
head
Wait.
massage.
Oh, okay. This is when, so to put things in perspective, this is when Stacy was his assistant, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we had that whole
Yes, we had the whole orgasmic fucking segment. Yes, I fucking remember. I mean, Stacy has, I'm being completely and utterly just purely basing on attractiveness, but Stacy does have nice legs.
they're very long.
And she knows how to use them.
And Vince likes those very, very much.
Apparently.
Which you will also see.
I wonder
which
what
you
her
can
assistant
see.
skills are like. I wonder if she's a good, does his times well with all his appointments. He's a busy man, so.
Well, he seemed to be enjoying the head massage.
Well,
So
that's
from
good.
that point of view,
That's good. She's doing a good job.
But we get the debut of Randy Orton.
Hey, I
Which
think
is
I
nice.
remember this segment. Doesn't Stacy hit on him?
Yes.
Makes her take off his
so,
shirt or something, doesn't she?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
I remember this segment.
he interrupts the head massage, but Vince is like, "Oh, okay, this is Randy Orton," introduces him to Stacy, saying, "Oh, like his dad, Cowboy Bob Orton, singing his praises, blah, blah, blah." Says, like, he's got a trial match for him tonight and wishes him luck. And then Vince leaves, leaving Stacy and Randy Orton together. Stacy wants, I put Stacy wants his D. She's eyeing him up and down. She likes what she sees. Talks about his hands, saying he's got big hands, and she was, "You know what they say about guys with big hands."
Oh man.
And then says, "I'll critique your body for you." Like she says, I could critique like headlocks and holds and all that kind of stuff, but I want to critique your body. And I've put yummy for some reason. I don't know if that's because she said yummy, or am I just saying yummy? I don't know.
I don't know Randy Orton, a young Randy Orton, yummy. Oh, Dreamboat, take off that fucking sweatshirt, mister.
So he does. He takes off his top, and she grabs his hand and puts it on her hip. She goes, "Yeah, just put your hand on my hip."
50 Shades of Grey.
And Vince walks in.
Oh,
Obviously, completely, "What's going on here?" And Stacy plays victim. saying that he's all over her and all this shit. So Vince is really pissed off that he's had his hands all over Stacey, so puts him in a match against Hardcore Holly.
Oh no.
And then Stacey's kind of like past it. I mean, you saw the picture I put on the Dits versus Josh.
I know, yes.
So that's essentially where we are right now. She's kind of like on the couch, like with her head back, feeling all
distinctly remember
victimized.
This segment for some fucking reason when Randy Orton took off his shirt for her, she put her finger in her mouth.
Yes.
She was like, ooh, your body. And it was okay.
It was interesting.
Like, I mean, in a few years they date on television, and he gives her a good old RKO. So it's kind of fitting. But Randy Orton would have been a baby in this segment, wouldn't he? He would have been a little, like, he would not be very old.
20, 21?
Yeah. So okay.
You can tell.
Yeah, I can remember I'm just being like baby face, like not baby faces in. Well, he probably was a baby face, but just like that baby face Orton.
Yeah,
a little kid.
And then Vince checks on Stacey, feels her leg.
Nice.
And then I've put second Vince cum face of the night.
Yeah, cool, nice.
It might not be the last one.
I fucking hope so.
Shockingly, we remain backstage because we've got. If you've listened to the previous episodes of Dits versus Josh, you know that there is some Mark Henry World's Strongest Man stuff going around. So bets on what he can do as part of this little gimmick that he's running. And this time, it's whether he can bend a steel pan.
Oh,
so
like a cooking,
like a frying pan kind of thing.
Yeah, like a frying pan. Okay.
So bets are coming in place, and he proceeds to bend that pan.
Impressive.
I put a little Matrix joke in there. There is no pan.
I've never watched The Matrix, but I'm sure that was funny.
Well, that'll go straight over your head. There is no spoon. You know that one? Nope. You're just like, what the fuck, Dits? Just shut the fuck up.
Move on. Come on.
So then Test challenges Mark to bend a steel rod.
Wait, Test is there. Okay. Right.
Yeah, Test is there. Test and Christian, and then
Lance
Storm.
The Un-Americans
Lance Storm is there too. And it's all double or nothing. He says, you go ahead, see if you can bend it. He bends the rod, and obviously Christian's annoyed that he's lost money, so he hits him with the bent pan.
Oh, why not?
End of segment.
I hate when I lose a bet. I hit people with frying pans as well. Get absolutely wrecked. What is it? Bend the spoon? What was that fucking Matrix joke you just made that I didn't understand?
I mean, I could go. Basically, he goes to this oracle, and there's these weird bald kids sitting around, and then they just sit there, hold up a spoon, and they bend it with their mind. And they're like, but there is no spoon. He says some weird, like,
someone will get that reference.
Crap. Somebody out there will get it. Just go put "There Is No Spoon" into YouTube, and I'm sure you'll see it.
I'm gonna call this episode "There Is No Spoon."
Do it.
I'm gonna.
We need that. I had some good titles.
Yeah, you were the title guy. I'm kind of a title guy, kind of. But
what did you call last week's episode? I should know.
It was
that,
just
really.
a Backlash review because that was just the.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, because just
generic
what it was. But yeah, this one, everyone, I'm saying it now. This episode is called "There Is No Spoon." Because there isn't, I guess. There
is no spoon. There is a pan. We finally, messing up my notes. We finally get some in-ring action right now. Finally, after 3 backstage segments, Hardcore Holly versus Randy Orton.
Has he still got his shirt off? I hope so.
He has his shirts off, and he's wearing like long trunks. Well, not kind of long trunks, like short trunks.
Those blue little gimmick ones, weren't they? Like blue and yellow.
Yeah, like the yes. The generic. I've just debuted wrestler look.
He did like the wrist taunt. I remember early Randy Orton, and he did lots of like crossbodies and drop kicks.
Yes.
Overdrives. Oh boy, that move is so bad. I hate the overdrive.
And very generic entrance music as well.
Of course.
Very generic. So the only thing I really pointed out with this match is that Holly was rough.
Oh yeah,
I'm not like I was watching it. I was just like, is this just really convincing, or is he just being like
I think they put him in there. I think they put new people in there with Holly all the time because it's like, if you can't keep up with this, get the fuck out. Basically.
I think that they did it with Maven when he first came in. So I was just like, geez, like I don't know what Sheamus calls it, the 10 beats of Baylor or something like that on the outside. He did that to him, but it was rough. Like you could hear it when Sheamus does it, but this was a whole fucking level of different. And it kind of went like that for ages. Orton had a little bit of a comeback. Holly got back on top, but then Orton, inside cradle, wins his debut match.
Wonderful.
Which I'm sure will spark some kind of feud between the two. Backstage again.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
You've said that more than once. This episode of Smackdown.
So we're backstage with Angle again. And we can see his t-shirt, but it's under a little cover, so you can't see what it is, but his little thingy's there.
I remember this segment.
This is one of the shining. This whole Angle thing throughout the entire night is one of the high spots of the episode. So he speaks with a photographer, saying that he wants this to be on the cover of WWF magazine, Sports Illustrated, every fucking major magazine. Yeah. To the point where even people in Zimbabwe are wearing this T-shirt.
Why Zimbabwe? I mean,
I
shout out to Zimbabwe, but it's a very random.
If any listeners from Zimbabwe, boom, there's your shout.
We have one listener.
And are you wearing this T-shirt? Who knows?
Maybe they are. I mean, if you're a big boy or big girl, whatever you want to be.
And whilst all this is going on, Edge sneaks in behind him and seemingly replaces the T-shirt with something else.
What a little bitch.
And then we have a second racist moment of the evening.
Oh, no.
Angle tells the photographer to make sure his little tiny Japanese photographers do their job.
I have no comment.
Yeah, that's a thing that happened then. But it was funny. Like it was a good little segment again. You know, it's Angle and his Edge. Put them together. Like you've had classic moments like this. We've got a few more coming up. The photograph thing where he's holding them up and it's like, I suck. I have fucking testicles and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like they're great. They're great together. And then they have a great match together at Backlash as well, just to top things off and make it all worth.
Not mad.
So Angle comes out to the ring for the T-shirt reveal, and it basically puts down the crowd for about 5 minutes, including the name of the damn place, which I still don't know the name of. He says it sounds like a urine infection, but he's basically saying that everyone in this crowd is fat. Says he sees so many morbidly obese people in the crowd, but he said that doesn't matter because tonight is to their benefit because they get to wear his T-shirt. Obviously, because it's extra large.
Oh, because they're all fat. I get it.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha. We're fat because we watch wrestling. Go fuck yourself, Kurt Angle.
And he brags about how he designed the T-shirt himself and all that stuff. And then he's about to reveal it, but then Edge comes out, and Angle's pissed. Like, he's not happy that Edge is out to ruin his moment. Says they're done after Backlash, so why the hell are you out here ruining my moment? Edge says they had a hell of a match at Backlash, which they definitely did. And just says he wants to congratulate Kurt Angle on his...
guy.
Yeah, nice guy. Yeah. And then Kurt's just like, oh, I'm glad that you've finally seen sense. And they shake hands. And then Angle gathers all the photographers around to take this picture of this reveal. Funnily enough, the photographers are Japanese. I didn't get their height, so I can't confirm whether they were tiny and little, as Angle described them. And then so the Japanese racist continuity is there at least. And then he reveals the T-shirt. It is the "You Suck" T-shirt, and he's bragging about it. He's raving about this T-shirt. Hasn't turned around, hasn't seen it, and then he does turn around. Obviously, irate about it. He's like, "Who the hell's done this?" Like, obviously, Edge did it earlier in the night, and then Edge gets Kurt Angle's music to play, so the crowd can then chant, "You suck."
And it was born. There wasn't
go.
It? Wasn't the "You Suck"?
Well, it was before Backlash.
Oh, right.
Maybe 2 weeks before Backlash that he got that chant going, and then I think this kind of cemented it as a
Now,
thing. I mean, he
even
got a
to this
t-shirt out of
day.
it.
I mean, even to this day.
He embraces it today.
I mean, yeah, he does that. When he was GM and he would come out and ask everyone, I'm like, this is weird.
Yeah. GM Kurt. I don't even want to talk about
GM
it.
Kurt on SmackDown.
That is a different kettle of fish.
But we'll get there one day. We're not going to spoil anything.
In 3 years.
Oh, 3 years.
I don't think it's that long. It's probably about a couple of months away. I don't know. So that was that segment. And then we finally go back for more in-ring action. This time it's Mark Henry versus Christian.
Of the Un-Americans.
Mark Henry... I think Henry wishes he had merch at this point because he's still rocking a Backlash t-shirt. He's living in the past. Get over it. Mark dominates this match, as you could expect. He does like a little military press from the outside and throws him in the ring. Strong man. Of course he can do stuff like that. But Christian kind of gets some momentum back with a low blow. Referee doesn't see it. Then it all builds to Christian trying to hit an unprettier, which Mark Henry counters into a bear hug and then wins.
Okay.
So wins with a bear hug. But I thought it was a good showcase for this whole like Mark Henry's World's Strongest Man gimmick. I think a squash was pretty much where it had to go. Just build up this whole thing. And they did it well. So it was I mean the match itself was pretty piss poor, but it accomplished what it needed to accomplish. Yeah. And then we go backstage again. There's a lot of backstage on this show. It's a Jericho interview, short and sweet. Calls Hogan Hollywood Hulk has been. Love that. He's pissed off that he never got his rematch from WrestleMania 18. Mocks Triple H that he only had that title for 4 weeks compared to the 4 months that he held it. It was a great but unremarkable promo.
Okay.
But Jericho's a great promo guy, so anything he does, it's good stuff. It was. Think of a Jericho promo. This was in that realm. Okay. And then we had a match next, but it was like a random merging of two storylines that I just like, why are these? I can understand why they're tagging, but why these two storylines? It was weird. Rikishi and Edge teaming together against Angle and Albert.
All right.
Because if anyone forgot, Rikishi and Albert are feuding.
Yeah.
Albert is still a hairy bastard. He's building towards that A-Train gimmick. Full steam ahead.
That is the worst shit you've ever said. Please fucking end all of this.
It popped you, didn't it? It popped you.
It nearly made me fart. There you go.
I've put it. Yeah, it's a random merging of these two storylines. There's an early spear on Albert. Angle breaks it up. And we've said this before, like on the old. I keep referring back to the old episodes, but that's all we have at this point. Rikishi is really, really good. Yeah. Like everything he was doing in this. No, I whenever I look back and thought, Rikishi, I always thought, he's average. Like I didn't really think anything of him. But every single match that I've seen him in since we started doing this show, like I've been very, very impressed with everything he does. Like everything's fluid, everything flows. Like it's really good.
Size, he can move. Which is a good thing.
And I put that comment off the back of a hot tag. He was cleaning house. Had a whole melee of finishers. Angle hits the Angle Slam on Rikishi, and then there's more spears. Edge and Angle then spill outside the ring. Albert hits a scissors kick on Rikishi, and then hits his finisher, and then that's it. 1, 2, 3. And there's a brawl at the end. Angle brings in a chair to attack Edge. Albert holds him. As he goes for it, Edge kicks the chair into Angle's head. Then Edge gets really fucking pissed, grabs the chair, goes to hit one of them, and Angle and Albert hightail it. End of match. End of segment. So I guess it furthered both storylines. I know for a fact that we're getting Angle and Edge at Judgment Day. I just know that from memory. Albert and Rikishi, on the other hand, I don't know where this goes. And to be quite honest, I'm not that interested.
Hopefully straight down the toilet.
Yeah. But you'll appreciate this next segment.
Will I?
Oh, testify!
Oh, hell yeah. Let's donate to his church. I'm ready.
I know you love a bit of fucking Devon.
I love fucking... What was he? Reverend Devon. There we go.
Reverend Devon. Vince McMahon's spiritual advisor.
Well, fucking duh.
There you go. So he's got assistants, spiritual advisors. So it's not quite backstage. Devon's in the crowd collecting $. And a guy tries to take the money. So Devon chases him through the crowd up towards near the stage and kicks 10 bells of shit out of him. Like it's a crowd plant, but it looks brutal. Like he doesn't lay up. He hits him with the collection
my brother.
box.
I mean, hello.
Throws him like this table that's set up against the railings. Like I mean, I thought Hardcore Holly was rough on earlier in the night, but this kind of just
don't fuck with Devon.
Exceeded it. Yeah, do not take money from Devon, especially with the guy who is bringing in to help him out carry that box.
Oh, I wonder who it would be.
And I believe that's next week.
Suspense for next week.
Stay tuned.
No
I mean, I've kind of shat on Devon's stuff so far on Dits versus Josh, but I enjoyed this segment.
Dare you?
I know.
He's just so good.
He's not though.
Please call my name. I want to hear. That's how it went, I think.
Okay, so that's weekly. You know, Billy and Chuck and now fucking Devon.
Yeah. I sing all the music.
So we have a very, very short segment, but it's a happy ending. The large man gets the last laugh. So Angle is walking down the corridor that you saw the large man earlier on in the night. I didn't know
what you were talking about. I'm like, what fucking large man? That's all right. Yeah.
The guy turns around and he's wearing the "You Suck" t-shirt, and of course Angle is very upset.
Angle, you bitch.
And then Angle storms off. And then we come to our main event.
Oh, here we
Finally,
go.
This horrendous episode of Smackdown is coming to an end, apart from the Angle stuff. It is Triple H versus Chris Jericho. Number one contendership.
Their WrestleMania 18 bout is revisited when they had a match over custody of a dog. And no, not Stephanie, the actual dog Lucy. Do you remember Lucy the dog? Because I fucking do. Oh,
I don't.
Let's rewind for 1 fucking second here. They had this thing where, of course, Stephanie and Triple H were getting a divorce and Chris Jericho was just kind of there. And they were complaining over custody of their dog, Lucy. And Lucy was in this episode. It was a little bulldog. And it was like, woof, woof, motherfucker. Like, I want to go with Triple H because it liked Triple H more. And then Chris Jericho, well, his limo driver, accidentally run over Lucy.
Oh, my.
Do you not remember any of that?
No.
Oh my god, you need to go back and watch. And he goes,
That
and Triple H
sounds more
does this thing
controversial.
backstage, and he goes, Lucy, Lucy. And he runs because the dog's like dead. And Jericho's like, I didn't kill the dog. But then he's like, you killed my dog. And then he said I'm gonna get him and that bitch Stephanie at WrestleMania. And I mean, he does.
That sounds hilarious.
Oh my god, I can't.
In a
believe-
really bad way.
Everybody, if you're watching this on YouTube, leave in the comments if you remember Lucy. Tweet at us on Twitter because Lucy was a real thing. Lucy, when she died. I don't know if did she. I think she got run over and she was killed, or she was run over and just. No, I think she was dead. I think they killed the dog.
It's like WWE's equivalent of Wilson. Wilson,
He literally, Lucy. Because he had that promo.
I could picture it.
And he had that, they were backstage, and then he had that promo when he got really angry, and he's like, you killed my dog, and then he was like, at WrestleMania, it'll be time to play the game. And that's what he did, and then he pedigreed both of them. Not at once.
That's the kind of like car crash stuff that I remember. I can't believe I don't remember that.
I just remember every time someone brings up WrestleMania 18, that one time that Chris Jericho main evented WrestleMania, it was pretty much over Stephanie and a dog. Jericho was the side piece. That feud was Triple H versus Stephanie, and I probably would have been low-key more interested if they had a match than if Jericho and Triple H. And I love Jericho to bits, but he was just the side piece.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lucy the dog.
Okay, I'm looking that up
It was
as soon as
either
we're
a
done
pit
here.
bull or it was a pug. I'm pretty sure it was a pit bull. It was a dog. I know that. I'm not making it up. I'm not taking this out of my ass. It was a real thing, and it got run over by the limo driver.
Well, in this whole storyline that we got going on now, there is an old hound that does need putting down. So I wouldn't mind if he was run over by a
Hey,
limo.
at least that dog wasn't racist. Well,
True story.
as much as we know. We don't know what skeletons were in Lucy's closet, but we know what skeletons are in Hogan's, and he's not fond of different people. So I'm not fond of him.
Where are we? Yes. By the way, the more I see it, the more I remember how feckin' awesome Triple H's entrance is.
Yeah.
It's great. Whoever come up with that water thing, bravo to you. Maybe it was Triple H himself.
It was probably Lucy.
Maybe it was Lucy.
Yeah.
The last thing she ever did. Lucy! I need to watch that.
Yeah, you really do.
So the early stages of the match, it's Triple H just pummeling Y2J. There doesn't seem to be, any offense from Jericho at all. And then we cut backstage during a match.
Why?
And they can't resist creepy Vince.
No.
And he's shown watching the match with his arm around Stacy backstage. And funnily enough, there is is that now? Or is it later? Let's have a look. No, that is now. Right during this point, he does, as he's watching Y2J on a comeback, funnily enough, come back, he's also got his third come face of the evening. He's loving what he sees. It's gross. The whole creepy Vince thing is just gross. And it's going to be weekly for a very long time.
Like, he was old then. It's not like he's just an old man now. He was old then.
Mm-hmm. It's not right. But it's what we have. every week. Creepy Vince, he's back. Triple H's Backlash wound is reopened, so he's pissing blood. And then, Jericho is back in control again. But we snap backstage once again.
Oh, my God.
To Vince's office, and somebody barges in. Who could it be? The Undertaker.
Randy Orton. Oh, it's the Undertaker. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Shit.
Taker's invading SmackDown, goes straight into Vince's office, and then it cuts. Cuts to commercial. So where's Taker? What are they talking about? What's going on?
God, he's from Raw. What's he doing here?
I know. And then we get back to the match. Triple H gets the... he's in like Walls of Jericho, and we've talked about this before, but the whole free arm drop thing when they like kind of pass out and the referee holds their armor. Whatever happened to that?
What the fuck? Who passes out in a Walls of Jericho? Honestly.
Triple H. It was a long Walls of Jericho.
Okay, fair.
But still. So he gets the free arm drop treatment. No submission. Of course, that third arm's about to go up, and he's like, "Yeah, suddenly I'm fine." And then he tops up. Chris gets pissed off that he wasn't able to put him away, so he gets out of the ring, gets some chairs. Triple H counters with a DDT. 2 count, throws the chairs out of the ring, and then here's the Undertaker. Woo! It comes down, interferes as Triple H is just appears.
Wow, what
just
a
appears.
So he got to Raw somehow, but didn't bring his bike. How did you get here? He could have just been like dong, and then he's like at the arena. Okay, yeah, he's got super. Oh, he didn't have supernatural powers at this stage, though, did he?
Maybe it was just like buried deep down beneath, or maybe he just used it when it was convenient.
Maybe he rode Lucy to the. Like, come on, Lucy.
Where was I? Yeah. So Taker interferes during a pedigree attempt, and Chris takes advantage, rolls up Triple H for the win. He's your number 1 contender. Hollywood Hulk has been versus Chris Jericho for the Undisputed Champions next week on SmackDown. Taker then attacks Triple H. Following the match, Chris joins in. Triple H. The Undertaker hits a really good chokeslam on Triple H. It's like a holding chokeslam of old. The ones that Big Show used to do and all that. It was a beauty. It was a thing of beauty.
Triple H always used to take those really well from memory.
Yeah, this was no different. And then he's about to drop a chair on Triple H's neck, like where they like set it up, like standing up, and then they slam them in.
Hogan makes the save.
Oh, yeah.
But it's it's a weird moment because you can hear the crowd go, "Way!" But you don't see, you know it's going to be Hogan coming up, but you don't see him for ages. So obviously it's him on his creaking legs running down to the fucking ring. I was just like, what are they cheering at? Is there a fucking beach ball in the crowd? And then all of a sudden fucking Hulk fucking slides in the ring, makes the save, chases down Taker, and SmackDown goes off the air with Triple H lying down in the ring. Chris Jericho on top of the ramp doing the whole like belt hand motion. And then boom, fade to black. End of SmackDown. Just like your Raw, it was a bit of a drag. A lot of backstage stuff, actually. I didn't realize until I started actually.
I thought Raw had a lot, but yours was like during matches.
I mean, highlights, you had Creepy Vince. It's always good. And we had the Angle t-shirt reveal throughout the night. And that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it probably had the same amount of good as Raw did, but equally the same amount of crap. Although mine didn't have any racism, I will admit. So...
Oh god, it was it was really bad. I actually cringed when I was like, "Ooh, dear, you won't get away with that now."
Wrestling's
weird.
Not get away with that now. Wrestling's really weird. Well, shout out to Lucy for being quite the dog. Allegedly, well, from what I can remember. Well, the dog's probably not alive anymore. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
it's been a minute. So rest in peace, obviously. But other than that, I'm ready to get to next week, so they can be better episodes than this week. I can't wait to see Molly use her new finish of a clothesline again, though. I mean, I'm excited for that admittedly.
But I've got a Hogan match next week, so
I don't. Although I'll probably get Hogan.
But you're gonna get a Hogan segment of some description.
Surely, I probably fucking will.
And it'll be something to do with the Undertaker, so you've got that to look forward to. I'm just waiting for that moment, and I don't think this moment happens for a very fucking long time. Maybe about 4 months down the line, where SmackDown is like awesome. Like when we hit that point.
Just want to get to the fucking time where Raw has Eric Bischoff, and I'll be constantly just raring to go. So
we're both waiting on the good stuff.
I've got some good stuff, and I can't wait to get rid of fucking Bradshaw. Good riddance.
I absorb him, but in a good way.
Yeah, you get him. Well, not for JBL at the start wasn't great. It took him a minute from memory.
Well, didn't he shave his head and then kind of reform APA? Stuff like that, yeah.
So you're going to have to deal with that. So you get Bradshaw soon. Get wrecked.
But it won't be in high-profile matches, I'm sure. So,
well, I think maybe this is... No, I'm not going to say maybe this is the end of Bradshaw with the NWO because, let's be fucking honest, I'm pretty sure it isn't. Oh, man.
He's going to want to seek revenge.
I hope not. I hope they cut it out of the network. They just dub it. They dub it with like a fucking picture of, I don't know, my ass, because it would be better than fucking Bradshaw. Oh, I hate Bradshaw. He's the worst. Whatever. Pisses me off. Oh, man.
Your hatred of Bradshaw, honestly.
It's the worst.
Makes me happy.
I didn't think I disliked him this much, but I fucking hate him. He's so irritating. He's just always there. Go away. Get out of this segment. You have no reason to be here. Oh, man, what a shit week for us. Shitty shows.
Yeah, it wasn't... I mean, it's like we said, like, post pay-per-view, like, Raws and SmackDowns are usually pretty good, but...
On this fucking instance.
But I'm happy at the moment, because I'm in that territory of, like, debuts of top stars coming through. So I had Randy Orton this week, got her debut next week, and then I've got another debut in the next... 2 months, I believe.
I don't know if I necessarily have debuts, but I do have some cool moments that I know are coming up that are like stand the test of time, if you will. So I'm excited for all of that. And yeah, we just
got to get to it.
We just got to
wait for all the bullshit.
And it'll be better because we'll wait and we'll see all this other dumb shit. There's so much weirdness going on at this time. I'm not mad. It's just, there's a lot happening.
It's fun revisiting it.
Yeah, it is fun. It is fun. So I guess as we're winding things down, I did the intro. You can take us home, Dits.
So as per Dits versus Josh tradition, we are of course competing against each other for points that mean absolutely nothing, apart from brags. I'm 3-0 by the way. A poll will go up on the Dits versus Josh Twitter page, not our own Twitter pages, which we will plug in just a second. Of course, we'll obviously retweet the poll, but if you're looking for the actual poll itself, it will be on the Dits versus Josh Twitter page. Just head on there and just tell us who sold the better show. Like, if you could look at it in any way. Who sold the better show, or what show you just thought was just generally better in general.
Or who's sexier, which I win. So,
or sexy.
Sexiness, best ass.
You've got the accent.
Best ass, nicest eyes.
You only win best ass if you put your ass as the thumbnail for this episode.
Done.
That's the only way you win that.
Done. Full ass. No balls. You don't want any like ball sack or anything like that. Tuck him up there and show the full ass.
This is where I log on tomorrow and it's just a picture of your ass.
Hell yeah. Here's my
Don't
ass.
let me down.
Vote for me.
Don't let me down.
I'm just gonna put it out there. I won't put a picture of my ass on the internet because I mean I don't want to like offend everybody else that's like I don't have an ass that nice. So
just put your face up. Same thing.
Bitch. It took me a minute to register what you meant. I'm like, did he call me attractive or did he call me face of an ass? My ass is ugly. Insecurities coming out. Whatever.
Such a child.
Also, I will plug my own shit because this is my fucking network. Yeah, this is my fucking network. Vote for me, you bitches. I do have something coming up this weekend because the world's a little bit crazy at the moment. And a lot of wrestling isn't happening. A lot of wrestling is getting put in the can. And I know how much people just like to kind of hang out together and just chat. So this weekend over on my YouTube, the times are all on my Twitter page. It's like 8 p.m. Eastern on Saturday night. It's midnight for Dits over in the UK. And it is 10:30 a.m. on Sunday for me this weekend. I'm going to be doing What If There Was an Evolution 2 and simulating 9 or 10 matches on WWE 2K20. Calm down. It works for this. So just please refrain from your comments of this game is broken. I fucking know. Don't worry. This works for this. And just hang out and watch some wrestling-ish stuff where it's in a video game. So there's no social distancing rules. All come to the chat, bring a snack, hang out for a couple of hours and just chat wrestling and just have something to distract yourself. If any of you guys back months ago watched my Brainbuster TV simulations that I did for like SummerSlam and Extreme Rules Stomping Grounds last year, think of that and times it by about 10 because this is going to be really fun. I've got a lot of things that I've worked on to make it as distracting as possible. So please come into the chat. I don't do these things unless I get a few people in because it's a lot of work. So please, youtube.com and find Josh Robinson 00. You know where to find all my shit by this point. So make sure you do that, and matches will get revealed all throughout the week. So you'll see what matches are going to happen and kind of where we could go if we had Evolution 2. Because, Dits, you'll agree, we should have fucking had one by now.
Yeah, absolutely. I could do a whole fucking podcast episode on the fact that we need a Evolution 2. I could book the bloody card.
Yeah, I could literally have anything on that card and I'd be pretty fucking happy.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's going to be happening this weekend, so everyone come and join. Other than that, just keep listening to the network. And Dits, it's W today. It's Monday, so you're gonna get 2 episodes of Dits at once.
Yeah, like I couldn't record. The house is hit with the. I mean, it's not confirmed corona, but everyone has the symptoms, and I'm the only one who doesn't. So I'm playing Florence Nightingale to the household. So I was unable to record. Yesterday. Yeah, this drops on a Monday yesterday. So you're getting double Dits. So the Dow Pod episode will release today. A mailbag of all your questions. And Dits versus Josh, of course. But you keep an eye out for all of that stuff on Twitter at Dits on Wrestling. It will take you to my page, which isn't focused on the wrestling side of things. It's also got my YouTube and my gaming side of things on there as well now. But that handle will always remain the same because that's what really people know me for. So Dits on Wrestling on the Twitter. And if you want to find me on YouTube, it's Dits on YouTube.
Yes, go and do that.
Booyah.
All of that stuff. You can find me at Josh Robinson 00, of course. I tweet about everything, wrestling, games, coronavirus, I guess, because that's what everyone talks about. And Giddy. Lots of Giddy. So much of my cat. Because she's great. So, I guess until next week, anything else you want to add?
Can you sing Billy and Chuck's theme once more?
I can.
Just to sign us off.
You're going to have to wait until next week, guys. You want more of my luscious sound? You're going to have to tune in next week.
You are taking the piss.
I'm trying to hype up the show.
Give the people what they want.
They want what they want and what they need is two different things. They want to hear it now, but they need to hear it next week. You want to hear it next week? You listen next week. You don't? We'll get absolutely wrecked. That's what I'm saying.
I guess the closing comments here are really vote blue.
Vote red, you bitches. And that's all I'll say. Until next week, goodbye, everyone.